up with these drugs, I keep it pouring. You can't show love, no, not in this season, just wait till the morning. I'm keeping it tough.
Black women, if you're gonna go get you an African man from the continent, you're gonna have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
But watch
But it's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over
Nah, yes it is. No, yes it is. It is tolerated over here. There's too many men putting up with these females that's always doing this. And they don't say nothing, they don't do nothing about it, they just take. And it's like, so then they go on to the next nigga thinking that's appropriate. No. The first guy need to check that she wouldn't have got to the 10th guy and still doing it. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is, it's too many dudes that is tolerating it. So then the girls just think that's an appropriate behavior, appropriate way to react, and it's not.
here, I want to say this to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down, or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work, or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
We have to be held accountable.
What is this nigga talking about? Listen, bro, I'm not even gonna lie. I rock with Dr. Umar, but a lot of the stuff he be saying, like if you sit back and just put the words and read the words on the screen and not listen to how much conviction he got in his voice, you will realize, but this nigga don't know what he's talking about. What he mean by the black woman has had to hold down the fort since 1970. What you mean by hold down the fort? What does that mean? Do you mean like niggas have just been failing? Like niggas ain't done nothing? Like what are you talking about? I hate when people say that black women been having to hold down the household. I don't get what you talking about because we was married at like a 90% clip back in the 60s. Now if you was talking about the 40s and 50s where us men had to go fight in World War II, I understand that. But the 70s, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's what I don't understand. And then he's saying like, black man, you gotta be patient, this, that, and the third with your black woman. I understand that, but black men shouldn't have to. I'm not even gonna just make it a color thing. Like no man should have to like practice unlimited tolerance with a person. Like at some point, that person have to become compatible, or else you really don't got much. The relationship is not gonna work. It's not gonna work because eventually that patience that you talking about displaying is gonna run out. It's gonna run out, and it's gonna inevitably lead to the end anyway. So it's like at some point, black women, the ones who are a little bit hardened, they're gonna have to become compatible at some point, even if the man is practicing patience in the beginning. Because I ain't gonna lie, I had this girl, a wonderful individual, I'm not even gonna lie, she was cute, very, very attractive, but the problem with her is she did have a lot of trauma in her life. She had a lot of trauma. She didn't come from the best home. And so I found myself always biting my tongue with certain things when I would talk to her. Just because she was like a ticking time bomb. And to avoid arguments and to avoid this hostile environment, I would bite my tongue a lot. But that's extremely out of character out of character for me because Drew don't bite his tongue. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not even that type of person. But I was thinking eventually it was a phase that she was gonna come out of, but it wasn't. She stayed the exact same. And I'm like, I can't deal with this shit. Bye. Hell no. So it's like, who has to change? Who has to change? Let's watch another. Let's watch another. My homeboy be sending me these all the time.
Yes, they have a role. Yes, they have responsibility. But as a man, as a leader, to say I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of a man.
I don't see. I think we're on two different accords. Like, I don't think we're saying that. What I'm saying is, I'm capable of being that leader, that provider. I've worked hard in my life. We tell black men that we have to now deal with masculine women with children.
Why is she masculine? Because she's had to raise the kids alone. Not one woman, brother. You mean to tell me, a whole community.
So you mean to tell me the only woman I could look forward in my life is a masculine woman that has kids by other men?
No.
That's what I have to look forward to?
But I'm telling you, mistakes made by black men systemically gave rise to the conditions that allowed her to be masculine and made her end up with a man that you consider to be less than what he should be. Yes, they have a role.
Oh my God. Bro. That still doesn't mean that a man should have to put up with that. That still does not mean that even though she done been through some stuff, it is not your next partner job to clean up the mess of other people. We're not therapists. Men aren't therapists. That is not what we're here for. We're not even responsible for your happiness. That's supposed to come from you. We are providers. We are protectors. That's where it starts. We're stability. We are not this therapist. We are not this emotional, intellectual person that girls always like to throw out. I need me a guy with emotional intellect. The fuck is you talking about? If one more girl tell me about emotional intelligence, I'm gonna lose it. But for real though, like seriously, you need to clean up all that trauma before you talk about dealing with somebody else, because you're not gonna be compatible. It's great business. You're not gonna be compatible. And like I said, fuck with Dr. Umar, but this nigga don't know what he talking about. He talking about some compromise, learning how to adjust to the masculine black woman. Bro, that would mean I would have to become emasculated in order for me to do that. And that's not happening. It's already enough men out here killing themselves, offing themselves. It's already too much of that. And you're trying to add fuel to the fire. No, this is poor advice. Don't listen to this nigga.
Bourbon on the Rockies, babe, that's all I drink. Don't you try to call me when the moon is up. I've been drinking all day and my head start to thinking. Prada bags all in your legs, you look amazing. How you post this shit and you ain't text me back? Riding with the stars, flying high across the map. Pray the moment never fade away.